Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Kirim Yatkripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. Okay, so last time we left off in the Bhagavad Gita. You all remember what topic? We left off at the topic of attachment. Attachment. Because in the very first verse, it says dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha. In the field of dharma, in Kurukshetra, everybody was assembled there. But in the second line of the first verse, what does it say? Mamakaha Pandavascheva. Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? Kim akurvata Sanjaya. So the very fact he said, what did my sons, that shows his attachment. So last class we saw 3 people who had 3 different attachments. Dhritarashtra's attachment was his son, Duryodhana, right? Duryodhana's attachment was power, his kingdom. Arjuna's attachment was his teachers, his family, right? So all of them had these attachments, and when they had these attachments, it caused them to shatter. Dhritarashtra, as a result of his attachment to Duryodhana, what happens? First, let's remember the steps of attachment. Attachment means I depend on somebody for my happiness. Then therefore I become, first I'm deluded. I'm deluded that my source of joy is in somebody else. Then I become dependent to that person. And once I become dependent to that person, then I'm helpless. I am helpless. Because I'll just do everything. Whatever that person wants, I'll do it. Why? Because I'm afraid I'll lose that person. And when I'm acting under fear, then what kind of actions am I going to perform? Dharma or adharma? Adharma, right? Adharma. I'll feel adharma. I will feel that I'm doing something wrong. And when we do something wrong, how do we feel inside? Guilty, sorrowful. And as a result, we don't have peace. We don't have any shanti. So this is what all of these characters are going through. They have become attached to something or someone so deeply that they've resulted to adharma because they can't help it. And we also reviewed what is detachment. Does detachment mean that you have to be away from the person physically? No. It just means dropping the dependence on that person. That's it. Just dropping the dependence on that person. Because we live with families, we live with people. So it's not like you can say, I'm going to be detached and not live with you. Being detached just means dropping our dependence on that person or on that thing. Now, Shri Krishna placed Arjuna's chariot in his weakest spot, in between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, but not just anywhere in front of the Kauravas, in front of Bhishma and Drona. And Arjuna breaks down. So let's see now all about the breakdown. Okay? You're going to look at your page number 44 in your page number 44, there's a footnote there. I'll chant that and you can please repeat after me. You can also show it in the slides. Yeah, it will be after that and the next one. Yeah, okay. Drishtvaimam swajanam Krishna Yuyutsum samupasthitam Sidanti mama gatrani Mukham cha parishusyati Vepatuscha sharire me Roma harshascha jayate. We'll see the next verse also. You can all look up for the next one. I included one more. Gandivam sramsate hastat Tvakchaiva paridahyate Nacha shaknomi avasthatum Brahmati vacha me manaha. Okay, so today we're going to look at Arjuna's breakdown and all of the reasons that he gives. So if you look at Arjuna's breakdown step by step, Sidanti mama gatrani, my limbs are becoming weak. Mukham cha parishusyati, my lips, my mouth is becoming parched. Vepatuscha sharire me, my body is trembling. Roma harshascha jayate, and I'm getting these goosebumps in my body. Gandivam sramsate hastat, that bow, that Gandiva bow, it falls from my hand. And he says, Tvakchaiva paridahyate, I'm burning inside. I'm burning inside. So you can switch to the next one. I'm burning inside. And he says, Nacha shaknomi avasthatum, I cannot stand anymore. Brahmativa chame manaha, my mind is spinning. You see what Arjuna is feeling in these verses 29 and 30. This is common to what we call a panic attack or anxiety attack. Exactly what we define as that today, that's exactly what Arjuna felt. All of the symptoms are there. Every single thing that he experienced, that's what people are experiencing today. And he felt that because he was absolutely overwhelmed. He didn't know what to do. You know, when somebody goes for a job interview and all of a sudden they get nervous, they panic, they freeze, they burn inside. Their tummy does flip-flops, right? Or sometimes when somebody's in front of a stage performance, they get stage fright. They don't know what to do. They shake. They shake. Or when they see something, they get traumatized. So this exact feeling that people get nowadays, Arjuna had that. And the minute he had that feeling, he couldn't stand anymore. It was a complete breakdown. So the pattern here is this threefold. It's delusion, pessimism, and escapism. Delusion means that I'm seeing something other than what it is. So I'm not seeing something for what it is. He's not seeing this as a dharmic war. He's seeing this as my friends and family. So I'm supposed to see this as a dharmic war because his identity on the battlefield is not I'm Arjuna, the grandson of Bhishma. His identity on the battlefield is I'm a soldier. So if your identity is I'm a soldier, therefore, what is your, if your I is I'm a soldier, what is your mine? My country. You understand? If I go in there as I'm a soldier. My mind is I'm my country. And I have to protect my country because that's my dharma. But he completely shifted his eye. He went in the battlefield, I am a soldier, and the minute he saw Bhishma, I am a grandson. So then what's his my? My grandfather. So delusion is when I see something other than what I should see it. Imagine a president goes in. President's primary identity is what? In the government. What's the primary identity? I'm a president, right? Therefore, what is the my? My country. So imagine if the president has to sign a bill and says, my son doesn't like this bill, or my daughter doesn't like this law, I'm not going to sign it. It's completely deluded, right? So Arjuna also felt that way. And we saw in Dharma, see, we have different roles to play. When you're in the house as a father or mother, you cannot say, I'm a co-worker and think about my employees. If your kid's in front of you and your kid maybe needs food, needs help with the homework, needs something, there you're a mother and father, that's the dharma you have to play, that's your field. So in every field, we have a dharma, and in that field, that's the dharma we have to play. And if ever there's a conflict, there's a conflict between my two dharmas, I'm a mother but I'm a wife, or I'm a mother but I'm also a daughter, or I'm a father but I'm also a son. We have to play that dharma where it's most required. And we talked about this also, right? I'm a parent, but I'm also a child of parents. So where do I go? Where is help needed most? Or I'm a parent, but I'm a representative of a country. Then you have to take that higher dharma. You're the representative of a country. So Arjuna becomes deluded in his dharma. He loses sight of it. And when he becomes deluded, then he starts making excuses to justify him not fighting, because he doesn't want to fight. So he becomes pessimistic. He tries to justify. He says the worst things are going to happen. We did see the line of thought Arjuna has. All these bad things are going to happen. I shouldn't fight. Why should I kill them? Even if they're wrong, why should I kill them? He has all of these lines of arguments. And then finally, he wants to escape. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to leave. So instead of fighting, he wants to fly away, run away. So this delusion, pessimism, escapism is exactly what Arjuna does in the whole of chapter 1. Now we're going to see how it all unfolds, right? So if you go ahead to the next slide now. Right. So we're going to read these verses. I added some verses here, so just so you can get the context. Okay, we'll read this verse. Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava na cha shreyo nupashyami hatva swajanamahave. So it's argument 1 of Arjuna. Bad omens. This is his way of running away. He says, Nimittani chapashyami viparitani. I see adverse omens on the battlefield. O Keshava, nacha shreyaha anupashyami. I don't see anything good coming out of this war. Hatva swajanam ahave. Having killed my kith and kin. So, there are people who, when they're supposed to do dharma, they say what? There's a black cat, so I can't cross the road, I can't go. Sorry. Right? Or you're supposed to see somebody that you don't want to see. They live on the 13th floor. Sorry, I'm not going to go see them. Or you have to go to meet somebody for a commitment. the planets are not aligned today, it looks like it's a bad day, I'm staying home. This is what Arjuna is justifying. He's saying, I'm seeing these vultures fly in the sky. I'm hearing all of these noises. I'm seeing bad omens. I don't want to go fight. Now, this is a very low kind of argument for Arjuna. He never had this argument before. He has what you call misplaced compassion. Misplaced compassion means that it's not that I have compassion for everybody. When I'm supposed to uphold something, all of a sudden I have compassion for that person. So if a judge has to uphold the law, right? They uphold the law for everybody. But when it comes to their own kith and kin, they say, oh, we can pardon this person. There you have compassion, but not for everybody else. That's not correct. If a teacher is a parent and their children are in the class, their child or their children are part of the students, the teacher has to uphold the dharma of the classroom and can't excuse her children or his children. Otherwise, that's misplaced compassion. So all of a sudden, in front of all of the people, he is saying, I have compassion on Bhishma and Drona. And I'm seeing these adverse omens, I don't want to fight. Now see here, it's not that our environment doesn't have an effect on us. It does. It does, right? People around us, the pollution, the gravitational force of the moon, for example, has an effect on us. So when it's full moon, it's high tide. In our body, we have 70% water. So when it's full moon, the water element rises. And that's why people fast that day, so that they can detoxify the system, because the water element is rising. It's easier to detoxify the system. So that has an effect. Solar eclipse also has an effect. So when we had the solar eclipse, everybody wanted to go out and watch the solar eclipse. In our Sanatana Dharma, we don't do that. We stay home and we meditate, because it's supposed to be a peak time for meditation. Any sadhana that you do during solar eclipse, it multiplies by manifold. So it is true that our outer environment has an effect on us, but what is the extent of that effect? If the mind is weak, it can get affected by anything. Anything. Yeah? One noise and the mind shatters. If the mind is strong, the mind, on the other hand, will affect the whole environment. You understand? So yes, outer circumstances have the power to affect us. It depends on how strong or weak our mind is. The mind is weak, affect. The subway is noisy, the subway is delayed, there's pollution outside, there's all these riots, there's all these things happening. You know, Jupiter is in this position tomorrow or today. All of these things will affect. Somebody who has a strong mind, they walk anywhere and they affect that whole environment. That's called Mahatma, right? So the stronger our sadhana is, the greater we have the ability to affect the outer environment. So this argument Arjuna shouldn't have. He's having it because his mind became so weak. So this is argument number 1. He's trying to justify, oh, there's bad omens, I can't fight. Doesn't stop there. We go into argument number 2. Okay, so let's read argument number 2. Nakankshe vijayam Krishna Nacharajam sukhani cha Kim no rajyena govinda Kim bhoger jivitena va. Earlier he had misplaced compassion. Now he has misplaced dispassion. He says, Nakankshe Vijayam Krishna. I don't want victory. I don't want victory. He says, Nacha Rajam Sukhani cha. I don't want the kingdom. I don't want happiness. Kim no Rajyena Govinda. What will I do with all of this kingdom? Kim bhogehe jivitena va. What will I do this with these pleasures or even life itself? He sounds quite reasonable, right? So if you're in a war, if you're saying, what will I do with all of this? I don't need all of this. It sounds logical, it sounds legit, but absolutely it's very selfish. Why? Because who said that you have to think about what you want? This is not about what you want. This war is about dharma. So all of a sudden this is misplaced dispassion. He's saying, I don't want the kingdom. I don't want happiness. I don't want to win. I don't even want this life. He's not a martyr. He's absolutely selfish. Because this battle is not about what you want. This battle is for dharma. For years, people have been paying taxes for you, right? For the government, a government is kshatriya. For the government to uphold the law, they've been paying taxes. You can't go in the battlefield and say, I'm a peace lover now, I don't feel like fighting. No. That is your dharma. And the dharma of a kshatriya, a warrior, a ruler, is supposed to always think about what is the benefit for totality and protect their people. So this is again a disguise of Arjuna. And this is the habit that we have. We tend to disguise our vices as virtues. We all do it. So somebody who gets angry a lot, and you tell them, I have an anger problem. What will they say? I just know how to get things done. Huh? That's what they'll say. Somebody who's always rushing everywhere. Tell them you have a problem, you're rushing everywhere. It's just that I'm busy doing so many things. They have a problem, right? You tell somebody that you're very indisciplined. I have too many responsibilities, that's just the way I operate. So we have this habit of glorifying ourselves. Those vices that we have, we make them virtues. This is exactly what Arjuna is doing. He's making himself appear as a martyr. Everybody should salute him. But he doesn't stop here. So this is argument number 2. Now argument number 3. Let's see. Okay. This is now verse 36, right? Yeah. Okay. This is not in, is this 36 there? Yeah, okay. This is not in the book. This is what I've added, so you get more context. Okay? Nihantya dhartarashtranaha ka priti sya janardana papamevashrayedasman Hatvaitanatatainaha. So he says now here, this is the third argument. He says, Nihatya dhartarashtranaha. After killing Dhritarashtra's children, ka priti syat, what good will come out of it? Oh, Janardana. Janardana is the name of Krishna who protects people. Janardana means the one who protects people. What good will come out of it? Papam eva ashrayet asmat. We will only get sins. We will only accumulate sins from doing this. Hatva, having killed, having destroyed, atatayinaha, atatais. Atatais are called felons. So here he says, what good will come out of all of this? Why should we do it? Why should we destroy them? What, we will incur sin, and they are felons. What good will come out of it? Now see here, it's not that the Bhagavad Gita is preaching war. It's not that the Bhagavad Gita is preaching war. They tried all methods to make peace. In our Shastra, there are 4 methods. Okay? Sama, Dana, Bheda, Danda. There are 4 methods. First is called Sama. Sama means where you make an agreement with the other party. You come to an agreement that, okay, hey, let's settle on this. Like adults, you negotiate, you come to an agreement, you make things work. They tried to do this with the Kauravas. What happened? They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to come to an agreement. So after Sama, you come to Dana. Dana means then you give something or you settle for less, right? If you're the one on the other party who has claims to a property or something, you settle for less. You say, just give me this much, I'm okay. I don't need to fight. I don't want to fight. Right? And all these lawsuits and everything. So Dana, they said, just give us 5 villages. Just give us 5 villages. We don't even want half the kingdom. It's okay. What did Duryodhana say? Not even the tip of a needle. I'm not giving it to you. So they have to ask for the third one. What is the third one? Bheda. Bheda is when you create a difference. You have to sort of divide the other party. People who are cunning, they do this. You create divisions in the other party so that you can get your way. And when you create that division, make it in such a way that one person is on your side. People do this every day. So here, what was the division created? Are you all familiar with the character of Karna? Yeah. Karna was in the side of the Kauravas, but he is actually a Pandava. He's actually a Pandava. He's actually Kunti's son. But when, it was her first child, so she let go of her son when he was a baby. So he never knew that he is actually Kunti's son. He's actually a Pandava. And Karna, being on the Kaurava side, was the strongest Kaurava. The strongest Kaurava, unstoppable. So for the Bheda, what did Kunti Devi do? She went to Karna and she said, you are a Pandava. She broke him. She said, you are actually my son. You belong to this side. You're fighting for that side. You belong to this side. And because of this, Karna took a vow. He told Kunti, no matter what happens in the battlefield, you will always have 5 Pandavas. You always have 5. Meaning, there are actually 6 if you take Karna. Meaning either Karna or Arjuna will die in the battlefield. But he will always keep 5 Pandavas. So there and then, Karna promised not to harm the other Pandavas. Yudhishthira, Bhima, Sahadeva, Nakula. And that actually helped them a lot. Because if Karna ever went face to face with Yudhishthira or with Nakula, Sahadeva, even Bhima, they would have been destroyed. So you create a difference, right? But that didn't still take Karna on the side of the Pandavas. It shook him, but it didn't create such a rift in him that he sided with the Pandavas. So you have to resort to the 4th one, which is called Danda. Danda means you have to fight. You have to fight. So they tried everything. It's not that they didn't try. They tried. And Sri Krishna even went to settle that in the Kauravas' court. And Duryodhana tried to kidnap Sri Krishna. So here, he's saying that what good will we get by killing all of these people? And Sri Krishna is remembering all of this in his mind. And these people, the Kauravas, are called Atatayi. Now, I have This fell here, but there's six things that make you a felon in our Shastra. Huh? In our Shastra, if you do all of these 6 things, you become an absolute felon, means you shouldn't be there. Huh? What are the 6 things? Number 1 is setting fire on somebody's property. So the Duryodhana did that. He invited the Pandavas to stay in a palace of wax, and he planned for it to be set on fire. 2 is you poison someone also. And the Duryodhana poisoned Bhima. 3 is without arms, you threaten to, somebody who is without arms, you go with your arms, with all your guards and everybody, and try to harm them. So they did that. They tried to kidnap Sri Krishna. 4 is you take away someone's wealth. Yeah, in a not morally, unethically. You take away, you steal people's wealth. They did that in the dice game. 5 is you take away someone's land by unfair means. And they did that also. And 6, if you mistreat the wife or the daughter or the daughter-in-law, that nobody should take. Now the Kauravas did not 1. They did all 6. So when you do all 6 of this, you're called Atatai. Right? Arjuna's realizing that they are these kinds of people. And he's saying, what good will we get by destroying them? So this now is a problem, because what happens if we let immoral people just keep going on? Nobody stands up to protect. What happens if the NYPD says, it's okay, you can do whatever you want, we're not going to uphold law? What happens? The moral fabric of the entire society will be torn apart. That's why everybody likes Waze. Okay, there's a cop coming, Everybody likes Waze because it tells you that there's a cop. There's a law that's being upheld. And our culture is so beautiful. See, back in the day, the Kshatriyas were advised by the Brahmanas. And what do I mean by this? Those were kings, those were warriors. Who were their advisors? Their advisors were people who were not interested in power, not interested in money. Their advisors were saints and sages. So if you look at the kingdom of Rama, who was his advisor? Vasishta Rishi and Vishwamitra Rishi. If you take somebody like Shivaji, Maharaja Shivaji, his advisor was Samartha Ramdas. So those who were in the ruling party, their advisors were always saints, sages, people who are not interested in wealth and power. Because they can give balanced and objective advice. But now it's completely the opposite, right? The warrior class, the rulers, are ruled by power and by money. So you can imagine, of course they're going to do something wrong. Because who is their advisor? So this also argument doesn't hold. I mean, if you have somebody who's doing something wrong again and again and again and again, and you don't stop them, the whole fabric of society will get destroyed. And Arjuna recognizes that they're atatai. So therefore, argument 3, overruled. Now we'll see argument 4. Okay? One more point about argument 3. He said that we will incur sin. Actually, we incur sin by not performing our dharma, not by performing our dharma. When we perform dharma, we get what is called punya. Punya means we get that peace of mind. We get that peace of mind. We get that clarity. We get that understanding. And ultimately, we get joy. But when we perform adharma, when we perform something that is unrighteous, we get papa. We get guilt, we get sorrow, we get confusion, we get despair, we get anxiety. And that just translates to outer sorrow, outer harmony, and inner sorrow, inner harmony. Inner sorrow and inner disharmony. So it's not that he would have incurred sin. He incurs sin by not performing his dharma. Okay? Let's see this now. Argument 4. Tasmanarha vayam hantum. Dhartarashtran swabandhavan. Swajanam hi katham hatva. Sukhinasyama madhava. So he says, therefore, we won't kill Dhritarashtra's sons. Tasman arha vayam hantum Dhartarashtran swabandhavan. We will not kill Dhritarashtra's sons. Na arha, we will not kill them. Swajanam hi katham hatva. Having killed our relatives, Sukhina Syama Madhava. What joy can we gain? Now again, what is wrong with this? He's thinking about whom? Again, himself. It sounds logical, reasonable. I mean, if you read the Bhagavad Gita on your own, chapter 1, you'll say Arjuna is quite logical, he's quite reasonable. But you have to see between each line what he's saying. Again, he's just thinking about himself. How will this give us happiness? Now, one more argument, let us see. This one is a very powerful one. Yeah. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo bhibhavatyuta. He says, look, when there's war, something happens. The destruction of families. Kulakshaye pranashyanti. When the families get destroyed, kula dharma sanatanaha. The dharma of the entire people that shatters. Dharme nashte kulam kritsnam. When dharma gets destroyed, adharmo bhibhavatyuta. Adharma will be on the rise. It's a very powerful argument. What's he saying? Now, I want you to just imagine this. You have in the battlefield, they were all in Mahabharata, they were all male fighting. You wipe out 1,000,000 of them. What happens? We've shattered 1,000,000 families. You've shattered 1,000,000 families. And when every person dies, what dies with them? Their culture, their language, their tradition, all of their practices, that dies with them. The reason that the parents are so important in the child's life is because the parents, both the mother and the father, they carry the language, the tradition, the religion, the values, the practices. They carry all of this with them. And if if one of them dies, they lose all of that. So imagine, first of all, you have 1,000,000. These were the numbers in Mahabharata war. Over 1,000,000. 1,000,000 of men will die. Now, the seat of any culture lies in a woman. That's why you say matra bhasha, mother tongue. The culture, the religion, the one who really teaches the child, that's the mother. That's a mother. She naturally teaches the child all of these things. She will be on her own. Now, if she has to think about being the breadwinner, the sole breadwinner of the family, raising a child, keeping the house together, doing all of these things, it's going to be difficult. Something will get compromised. So the dharmas that are supposed to be passed on, they won't be passed on. The child might never learn anything about their language or about their religion, how to pray, who is God, what is the connection with God. They'll never learn. Maybe they'll never learn about their family lineage. They'll never learn about the stories of our scriptures. They'll never learn all of these things. And when they don't learn all of these things, that whole dharma fails, it perishes. It destroys the family, it destroys society. And if you have societies where the children are growing up without learning dharma, what will happen? What's happening now? All adharma will prevail. So he says, for all of these reasons, he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to fight. And as he keeps uttering this, Sri Krishna remains silent. Why? Why isn't Sri Krishna talking? That we will see next time. Sri Krishna's silence is also very powerful because he knows that Arjuna is just justifying his own thoughts. He knows it. That's why he doesn't say anything throughout. At the end of chapter 1, after all of Arjuna's rants, like what I explained to you, he just sits down and he says he can't fight. He's completely overwhelmed. So he's gone through delusion, he's gone through pessimism, and he's gone through escapism. And all of these arguments that justify not having war are signs of him trying to escape it. But of course, Shri Krishna, being his charioteer, won't let him just sit there. He'll eventually ask him to rise up. Right? So today we will stop here, just pondering over all of Arjuna's justifications. How his compassion is actually misplaced compassion. How his display of selflessness is actually absolute selfishness. How his display of dispassion is actually misplaced dispassion. And all of it is because he lost sight of his dharma. Okay, stop with this today. Today, when you go home, please read chapters 10 and 11. What we've spoken about is in chapters 10 and 11. So you can read at your own leisure. And Swami Chinmayanandaji also has the Holy Gita commentary. It's available on Kindle, it's available online. If you want to read more in depth, you can read the passages of the Gita. They're very profound. But like I said, it should be studied with a teacher, with a parampara. We're studying with Gurudev's commentary so that we understand correctly what's happening. Any questions from today? Or any thoughts you want to share? Okay. Yeah? That's a beautiful thought. Yeah.
I don't know if the question is more just like if you can elaborate a little bit more. You made a point that if your sadhana is strong, then you kind of have an impact on your environment versus if it's weak, then the environment is
Impacting you. Yeah.
How do you become strong?
So how do we become strong? That's through spiritual sadhana. All of us have to have some kind of spiritual practice of prayer. It can be japa, it can be puja, it can be study of the scriptures, but all of us should have some kind of spiritual practice that we do every day which grounds us. So in Upadesha Sara, when we studied last time, we recommended there's 3 instruments: the body, the mind, the intellect. So we should all have a practice for our body to keep it fit. Because without a fit body, we cannot do any sadhana. We'll be thinking only about our body. For the mind, a sadhana for the mind can be japa, chanting the name of the deity that's dearest to you, your Ishta Devata. It can be puja, it can be chanting. It just cultivates a sense of faith, and surrender. And sadhana for the intellect is study of scripture. Study of scripture. So if we're rooted in some spiritual practice, then we become quite resilient. Nowadays, people break down for any small thing. We've lost our resilience. So this sadhana makes us really strong in a way that we're able to affect environments. Environments don't really affect us. So you see great saints and sages, just their mere presence, everybody becomes calm. They don't even say anything. Lots of our great saints and sages, they just walk into a room, everybody becomes calm. They didn't say anything, they didn't do anything, but it's the power of their tapasya. When we go to a temple, our deities don't move. They don't talk to us. But looking at them, we just feel so elevated. Right? There's something divine in their presence. So that spiritual practice goes a long way for us. It's the most important thing, actually. Because then we can deal with anything. Yeah, it's a very deep one. Music, spiritual music is very deep sadhana. Yeah. Kuch to hai. That's the beauty of Sanatana Dharma, right? There's a sadhana for everybody. Okay, we'll just say the closing prayers now. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.